What do this balloon and our universe have in common? Well, this balloon is one of many. But is our universe one of many? Well, string theory proposes an answer to this question, but before we get into that, it may be helpful to understand first, what is string theory? So what is string theory? String theory is a scientific framework that unites all principles of the physical world. It's a theory of everything. In its most basic form, string theory suggests that as we keep getting smaller and smaller, past the atomic scale and past the subatomic scale, we find that all matter in the universe is comprised of unimaginably small, vibrating strings of pure energy. Much like guitar strings play different notes depending on the frequency, that is, the rate at which vibrations occur on its strings, the rate at which these strings of pure energy vibrate also determine a few things. Like what type of matter they make up. They could be, for instance, the particles of a dog or piece of string cheese. The vibrations on a string can even determine a physical constant, like the speed of light. Now we're all familiar with the three spatial dimensions. They're height, width, and breadth. But string theory hypothesizes that there are extra dimensions beyond those. Now, stick with me here, because things can get a little bit complicated. Now, these additional dimensions are clusters wrapped into very specific shapes, and these shapes contain the strings. We can think of these dimensional shapes as teeny tiny Jell-O molds. Much like these Jell-O molds determine the shape that this Jell-O can mold into, these dimensional shapes constrain the strings, and in doing so, determine how they will vibrate. An important thing to note, however, is that according to string theory, there can only be one specific shape for the extra dimensions in any given universe. So, what exactly do I mean when I say any given universe? Well, string theory suggests that our universe is just one of many. Our universe would be like one plastic ball in the largest imaginable cosmic ball pit. The logic for this speculation is as follows. Mathematically, string theory allows for over 10 to the 500 possibilities for the shape of its extra dimensions. But if each universe can have only one shape, then there must be other universes where the other shapes can exist. Universes outside of our own to house the other possible extra dimensional shapes. That sounds a lot like a multiverse to me. So, where do these other universes come from? That's the question. String theorists speculate that our Big Bang that created our universe was just one in a series of other Big Bangs. When our universe was created, so were countless others, and since each of these universes have their own different extra-dimensional shapes, which affect the way that their strings vibrate, they are fundamentally different from each other. There could be infinite universes with infinite possibilities. Now, as of right now, the multiverse, as supported by string theory, is just that, a theory. But this raises the question, is there any way we could actually test for the existence of the multiverse? Enter inflation theory. Inflation theory states that during the first few moments after our Big Bang, our universe underwent an incredibly rapid period of expansion. Now, this period of expansion was so fast that the fluctuations of tiny quantum particles, like these dots, were stretched into a massive network of slightly warmer and slightly cooler spots broadcast across our universe, giving our universe its own distinct fingerprint. String theorists speculate that if the multiverse really exists, if other universes truly exist outside of our own, then every so often, these universes would collide with each other, and in the process, exchange their own cosmic fingerprints. And hopefully one day, we'll develop the technology to detect those fingerprints. So, one balloon out of many, one universe in the multiverse. Our balloon and our universe have something in common after all. Well, hopefully not that.